6 days of pure magic. Human Design Rave Festival 2024.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Human Design Rave Festival 2024 from the 17th to the 22nd of January, live in Sofia, Bulgaria, and online worldwide. Super excited and happy to meet Don again. Hi, Don. How are you?
Hello there. Yeah, it's nice to speak to you, Veronica. We have obviously been contacting each other about this exciting, interesting festival where lots of people at last have a chance to join in with other people, learning about their design and other people's designs and how the world is affected by design, or how it can help us understand the world. And I think that's really, really going to be great.
Yeah. So Dawn, actually, we met live with you, and you deliver a very interesting way your lectures with a lot of humor and yeah, laughter. So that's why we invited you to give the forecast for 2024. We would love to hear that. And also connected to the sensual labyrinth that we are having live there, you're gonna present the in general the PHS for people. So this is not a class, guys. It's just to so that you get to know yours. If you don't, you probably do. We all know that the information is available online everywhere, but during the festival, you're going to be able to experience it with your sensitivity. Your senses are going to be stimulated. So this is what Dawn is offering, and we're super excited for that. Yeah, it's crazy world out there, huh, Dawn?
Well, it definitely is. Especially, I'm looking forward to doing the new forecast, because the world is changing. The world is definitely, things are fading away, things are breaking down, things are building up. Changes are definitely afoot in almost not just every country, but in the institutions in the countries and so on. And so I hope to bring all this to the forefront with the forecast, which I should be doing, which, as you know, happens in that part of January when you're having the festival. So that's when the solar return changes, and we're into the next new year, whatever that holds, and that you'll be hearing about in the festival. At the same time, they're suggesting that I could cover the PHS details, which is going to be very interesting, because a lot of people, they really like design, but it's very hard to actually live it. And part of living it, PHS is really the starting point to help your body, your vehicle, to attune to the best circumstances for you to live your life in a way that actually works for you. So this is really, really important to me, and in a sense should be to everyone. The more people know about it and have at least some idea, if you were supposed to only eat in after sunset, then that would make a big difference to your life. So no more of those midday lunches out in the garden or whatever, and you would change your life, for example. Okay, so there's things like this will come up. And then I believe that Veronica and the others will set up a situation following what I would call theory, and then you can see about how to put that into practice. And that's going to be interesting, fascinating to know about. So that's for the people who are actually attending, of course, but that's going to be great. So yeah, there's a couple of things I'm putting in there, and of course available to projectors, because I am a projector, and I do think that the projector's role, it needs to emerge, but it can only emerge when the other types sort of get on board and realize that there are sufficient projectors with an idea of what they're up to be able to guide. And this is a big problem, by the way. So you projectors, stop trying to interfere, stop trying to put yourself forward, just be there and let other people notice what you can do and get on with your life, projectors, so that the nice generators and all that can notice you. then think, you know, he might be able to do something, or she looks good at that, I might get her on board with our project, and so on. You see, so this is important. You know, live your life as if it had some sort of meaning. Through the design assistance, it can help you. You've still got to live your proper life, whatever that is, but the human design can give you a great assistance. So back to you, Veronica.
Yeah, maybe I wanted to mention about PHS because there will be some newbies to human design, and it is a little bit from the advanced levels, although people share it the moment they come into groups online and stuff like that. And still, it's an important and maybe not an easy step for everybody, and it's not something you should maybe do from day one. Of course, it all depends on your authority and strategy. But, you know, they even say it's good if you at least only experimented for 3.5 years with your strategy and authority before you go super radically in the PHS. But still, it's out there, and some people will be ready. And yeah, it's a good thing to really experience it.
It is. And saying about being ready, in a way, everyone could be ready. But not to go overboard first off and try to sort of have sort of lesson 6 before you've done lesson 1, as it were. You have to start with the obvious things, like your type, and understanding what that means. And so it goes on, you know, right through. Ra set up the most amazing system. It is, you know, thoroughly worked through. It is like a whole tapestry, and we just have to start with a bit of it, our little bit. But, you know, as I remember him saying once that, are you just furniture, just props on the stage, or are you taking part in your life? And we want people taking part in their lives, whatever that is. So that's human design can really help people get that. I'm very enthusiastic about that side of it, you know, stopping people doing the stupid things, which we all do stupid things, but you learn from it. You say, that wasn't for me. I realize now. And you move on to what is better for you, what is more correct.
And Don, actually, would you mind sharing your story with human design? How did you come to meet human design, and how did it transform your life?
Right. Well, it was fun enough. It was a chap called Patrick, who has been to Bulgaria a lot in many years ago, helping people get their designs. He did my first design, and he was very honest and open and impressed. He was impressed with the fact that I was a projector, and he hadn't come across many at that point, and pointed out I had a task, a role to fulfill. And I found that very useful, because it also means you can't jump the gun with whatever your projection is, whatever your trajectory would be. So that was very interesting from that one. So I joined up very quickly, and I studied design over here in the UK, and went on very well. And then I was coming to Ibiza, which was great, meeting Ra and meeting all those the early teachers and students. So, you know, and really, really enjoyed that, our yearly gathering. And it's such a shame that it had to stop, of course, you know, but at least now people like Veronica are putting it together again for people to actually meet. And meeting online is pretty good. Meeting together in person is even better. So if you can do that, anybody, do it. And I would say meeting people in person who have some idea of their design, and you can start to live, because they know something about you that will help you. You know, this is a thing, like a shared thing between people. Is you can know your own design, but to have people around you who also know design, what a benefit that is.
Yeah, isn't it? And we were talking with you actually about this in Romania, that it's the nicest conversations actually happen between the lectures, and really when you're living it and with.
Yes. Oh, that's absolutely true. For example, we had those sort of gatherings in Britain originally too, but you know, they were very good. You know, so sharing with other people in the flesh, in the aura, see, and that's what, for example, the first one I came to in Romania, in Sfântu George, was so good. You know, everything was really well laid on. It was a very nice place that we had to work in, and you can really meet these people because you're there for a few days, meeting them, having lunch and dinner with them, going for walks with them, also able to get away and then maybe come back, and maybe someone wants to do some dance, or they might want to do some art. You know, there was all sorts of nice things going on, which I believe are happening again, Veronica. Is that right?
Yeah. We
So
have a
again,
lot of entertainment as well. Yeah,
practical ways of sharing. You know, so it gets much more real, because you can study the books all you like, but you put it into practice with other people. That's what really makes a difference. You learn so much more quickly and easily, you know, because you're starting to express your design with other people who are okay with you expressing your design, however that comes out. You know, oh, she's had to go off and lie down. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, so that's the great thing. Sharing in the aura and in the presence, very nice.
Yeah, very nice and very different. And still, when we got closed down and we had to only meet online, we also discovered that the neutrino travels fast, and it also works, the community experience in a way. It's different. It's just different.
Yes.
That's why we're doing a hybrid event. So we utilize the best of both, right?
Yeah, we can't all be everywhere, as it were. But if you can, obviously, I'd love to go to a live workshop, but it's not going to be very easy for me to do this for various reasons. But I would love to then join in online, and it's great. And some of you, the people who do come, will be sharing in the flesh, in the aura, and so that would be a really nice thing to plug into, as it were, and we all get benefit from that.
Yeah. And actually, Dawn, I want to use the opportunity to ask you about those Ibiza events with Ra. What is your most colorful or memory or fun memory or something you would like to share?
Yeah, well, there are so many, you know. I mean, I've discovered that Ra was a very spiritual person. He comes across manifester, down to earth, grumpy, you know, straight to the point, you know, calls a spade, as we say in Britain. You know, and so difficult at first. I actually first met him in Edinburgh. Oddly enough, it's when he was helping human design in Britain get off the ground, and it was a very interesting experience. And I found him a bit difficult, distant at first, but going to Ibiza, everything changed. I was studying, I took it on board, you know, so much of what he was saying, but it's also how he says it. He would sit there in the wherever auditorium, and he would just talk. I don't notice him looking at a clock, but he would make it exactly the hour, and he would not go, well, you know, I thought, and none of that, straight out, always, absolutely, as if it was reading off a page, but it wasn't. He just came from within him. This is because we've had that incredible experience, which no doubt many of you know about, of 7 days download, and it was just embedded in him. He then had the task, and this is another thing he used to say, that he's actually a servant. He's been given a job. The job is to help other people understand what it was that he has been his privilege to take on and share. So he made it accessible to people. He refined it so we could all understand what was said. And we're not going to do a 7-day experience with some crazy voice from under the earth. But
8. It was actually 8 full days. Can you imagine?
Full days, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the dog.
And the poor dog under the table. But you know, but anyway, so there it was. And we used to, you know, I saw him for many years there. We used to stay, you could enjoy the island. It's a beautiful island in the spring as well. So that helps a lot. But people were lovely. You know, you could get to meet other people, as we were saying. And then there'd be Mal and his band, almost always at least once, down on the beach, entertaining us all with his version of music. And then there'd be also Ra playing sometimes. Sometimes Ra would play. Jean-Paul would come with his band, you know, and they would play together. So Ra was a musician too, in case people weren't aware. You know, he's a great musician, and he often, a lot of the knowledge, if you like, were the basis of his songs. So again, if you can get hold of the songs, it's quite interesting. There's a different way of understanding what he's talking about, like the neutrino ocean or all these other concepts. And we used to really get on. We actually got to be personal friends, I would say. You know, we'd certainly have a lovely hug as soon as I landed and met him in Ibiza, and so on. I don't believe he hugged many people. He had that manifesto aura, but that didn't bother me. You know, we actually were on a similar wavelength. Not the same, I'm just a projector, but I really took on what he was saying. You know, and so that was lovely. And he had great teachers there too. So again, you know, like Andrea and so on, you know, all sorts of really good teachers. Peter, I could go on and on. So many good teachers, some of whom are still around, of course, and maybe you'll see them again. So yeah, it was the best experience, the best.
Yeah. Well, for that's one of the ideas of the festival, is to actually make a bridge between the original Raoruhu frequency and the first wave of teachers and professionals and experimentators of the human design system who were directly impacted by Ra, and their students, the second wave of experimentators and enthusiasts, teachers, professionals, because the knowledge is, as you said, something living, and we all put our perspective in a way in it, and through us it's mutating as well. But still, the original frequency is what brought it to the world. And there are not so many events out there actually that we know of that actually do deliver on such massive scale the original sound to reach more people, because as we know, there are a lot of mutations, let's say, of this knowledge, which is distorted more or less from the different sources. And that's why we want to keep this event clean. And as you say, like Ra himself was straight to the point. Let's get practical. And let's not keep it only to the theory. Let's experiment. Let's embody it. Let's meet live, but let's also open it to everybody online. And let's get it rolling, guys. Do you want to come and be part of that experience with us? We would love to see you there. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think it's brilliant. You know, I hope to play my part. You know, in sharing good stuff, and you know that will be for other people. But I always find them very positive. All these gatherings I've been to since whenever. I mean, it's not quite the same as Ibiza because we don't have Ra, and we don't have Genoa, and we don't have, you know, so it goes on and on, Inga or whoever. But you know, there are people, you know, who remember what it was like. But the new wave, I found them very good. You know, when I was training some people up and so on, the next wave and the next are very, they're kind of more down to earth. I don't know if it's because of Generation Z or whatever, you know, and the millennials and all these younger people who are getting it. Maybe the ground has been prepared. Maybe the newer people are getting it more easily. I do think this is something going on, because when I meet them, they really have a better grasp than I had any chance of when I started. I had to really, and Ra said, this is for the children. This is for the new young people. Us oldies, and I was getting on for 50 when I first met him, you know, and that was old at that time. Yeah, and so on. So, you know, he said we're past it. We haven't got a chance, really. We just have to do our best. But the young people, they will get it. And it's coming true, I think.
Yeah, amazing. And also the festival, in a way, is a door open to, indeed, to newcomers and to newbies who just meet the system, and because there is so much information and it's not cheap to study it, so it's also a way to taste, to dip your fingers in all kinds of thematics, look through human design, and to do it in a synthesized form. So that's another positive.
Definitely. Oh, yes. And I think the tools are getting better and better as well. Maybe it's because people understand the whole thing better, they're able to present them better. But yeah, and you've got, it's fantastic that you can be online, and get all this stuff. It's just, it's almost the same as being with the person nowadays. It's fantastic. And just you and I talking on Zoom, that could not have happened with Ra. You had a film, yes, but there's no interaction. It's such a, things have moved on.
Yeah, amazing. And also what is coming up in these times, what is happening, and even Ra mentioned that we will be lucky if we have all the technology going on, for the next 80 years. But it's indeed giving so much opportunity right now. So and it's very comfortable to be in the comfort of your place, and be able to connect online. So let's see, maybe not in our lifetime, hopefully.
Well, that's true. But the other thing is, you see, this is partly because of the changes he predicted for 2027 as well, and leading up to this, when you get a massive change, and the emotional system takes a big change and so on, as well as institutions breaking down and so on and so forth. But what human design can teach us, and I did mention this in someone on Facebook to someone the other day, it's about resilience, personal able to adapt and be yourself, because that's the only way we're going to come through whatever's happening. If we all behave like some of the people in the world are behaving now, we're all lost. You can't go around hating people, and fighting them and stuff like this. And you have to be able to stand up for yourself. You have to have like an ethical side to yourself. And there are people without any ethics out there. Horrible. So the human design gives you your own way, your own moral compass as well. What is good for me to do, what is appropriate. So all these things are extra tools that human design gives us to survive well in the coming years, I would say.
Yeah. And guys, Don is also a psychotherapist, so he really sees also what's healthy in this respect, and to be healthy and to be resilient, to not only survive but thrive.
Yes.
Human design is for these times. It's for now. It's to help us align to our geometry and our fractal line, and get centered and find our own strength and grounding, because it's such a chaos outside. We cannot rely on our authorities anymore. They're crumbling down. So we only have that. We only have ourselves, in a way.
Yes. And what do you do if you don't have a health system? What do you do if the police stop enforcing the law? Well, what do you do, etc., etc.? You can imagine. These are big things that are going to be crumbling. Politicians, corrupt politicians everywhere, because they're just self-seeking. We have to find how we're going to live in that world. We even just basically having somewhere to live and food to eat. And maybe, look after our children. This is really, really important. These are essential things of living on this planet. And human design has at least some of the tools you'll need. There will be others, but you'll find them through living your design. And that's the secret. That's why it's a core discipline, you might say, to get the design tools on board for yourself. Then you can carve your furrow. You can, go where you need to go, do what you need to do, with some personal assurance that this is it. This is the correct thing.
Yeah. And this kind of even eases up the mind.
Yes.
Which is always anxious otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for your wisdom and sharing yourself with us.
Mm.
And if there is something more you would like to say to the people who are watching us, as a projector, maybe what is your advice for, yeah, what just your top advice or whatever comes
Right. Well,
out.
so I would say, yes, just, you know, if you can be yourself, you know, and this is the thing. Okay, you just have to be yourself, and that means not necessarily joining in with the crowd, but especially in the future, but now from going onwards, we will have to be able to work with others, and others work with us. We are not meant to. We are social creatures. We are. It doesn't mean that just because institutions are going that we can't get together with other people. Absolutely the opposite. We will even more need to support where we see it. You know, like just helping someone who's fallen over, help them get up. You know, why would you walk past? You know, it's just crazy, and it's be on a bigger scale. You know, someone's hungry, but we're going to have to be sharing more like that. You know, that's these sort of things, ordinary day-to-day things. Being ordinary is fine, but your sort of ordinary, whatever that is. Okay, that's the thing I'd like to say. Just be your ordinary self, the one that human design can guide you towards.
Yeah, you're touching on a very deep topic. To be human, to be the human in transitus, to be the new nine-centered being. And yeah, because when you accept yourself and when you love yourself who you are, only then you're truly open and able to give to others.
Yeah,
and accept them too. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Okay, Veronica, it was very nice to speak to you.
It was very nice getting together again and for a chat and presenting your offerings for the festival. Thank you very much again for your time. And guys, Don is coming with something really interesting and practical, because the forecast of human design Rave New Year, it's not predicting the future. It's nothing like that, but it can really give you guidelines as what the background frequency will be. So it will be, stay tuned, and you will get
exactly right.
Yeah. So Human Design Rave Festival, 17 to the 22nd of January 2024. Be there. You want to come?
Yep. Exactly. Perfect.
Bye.
Bye.
Get your tickets today. See you soon.